Hi everyone, so I have just got back from work. I'm now working. I'm able to get out and do things. My wrist is phenomenal actually. So I was given the all clear to start trying lifting some heavier weights and stuff like that, and I have to say that it's gone really well. So I'm now able to go and collect. And the main thing was the pig bins. Those of you who watch me regularly will know that several times a week, one of my jobs is to go and collect pig food, and I collect it from fruit and vegetable shops predominantly, but also some other places. And it's basically big dustbins full of the fruit and veg that they can't sell. And cool, my wife's been busy. I don't know what she's chopped down, but the goats have got some trimmings. Hello, how are we doing? So anyway, I can now lift up the pig bins. I went to do it, and I had Jason with me. This was yesterday, and I thought, well, while I've got Jason, I'll try it, and if it goes wrong, then he's here to sort of help. But it went really well. So I'm now able to go and collect them all on my own again, which just makes everything that much easier. You've been fed. I'll give you a little bit of hay, but I can't give you any more of that. Look at them. Anytime someone comes out here, they're like, well, yeah, I'll have some food then. Yeah, food's good. Give them a little bit extra hay. Get them a bit more. So they're all our goats are pregnant now, and heavily pregnant. I'll have to work out due dates, although you guys could probably tell me the due dates as well as I could, because it will be 5 months from when Sid arrived. But yeah, they're all pregnant now, so you can't really overfeed them. Want to make sure they got plenty of nourishment. So anyway, yeah, I'm not long home from my brother-in-law's. Now, you might remember in the summer, I started a big fire pit project for him. Well, now that I'm able to do things again, one of the things I've been doing this week is, basically we've got a kind of a deal. He buys now, because he's got more hens than we do. He's got a ridiculous number of hens. And he buys animal feed and the chicken food in bulk. He buys it by the pallet load, which means that we're able to basically go in with him. And now what happens is, rather than every couple of weeks having to go to a farm shop supplier and go and purchase our layers, pellets and things, which we would pay anything between sort of 10 and 13 pounds a bag for, depending on what we're getting and where we're getting it. Well, by buying it in bulk this way, we're paying £7 a bag. So anyway, as you'll know, over the last 10 weeks, I've not been able to work. Money's been very tight. You know, we've been okay, but we're just getting to the end of being okay. And luckily, you know, I'm able to go back to work again. So what I've been able to do is go to Rob's, my brother-in-law, and do some work for him to basically pay for all the chicken feed that we've had from him that he's just given us until I was able to go there and start doing some bits. So that's a very long way of saying that for those of you interested, I'll be able to show you the fire pit a bit more developed in the next few weeks as I'm back over there doing a few more things. So, hello girls. I also wanted to come and say hello to the pigs with you guys, because now what we've got here is basically our long-term pigs. So it's now January, so at some point in the summer, one of those younger guys will be butchered, and that will put pork in the freezer to take over from the pig that we have in there now. And at which point, this girl, she will also, if all goes well, be pregnant by one of these guys. They're unrelated. And then what will happen is the two that we're keeping, one male, one female, will stay here and be our breeding pair. That's going to be the ongoing plan, so that we never have to buy in any more weaners. You're ever so noisy, girls, but you've got plenty to eat. They're so spoiled that they become fussy, so you've got to watch out for that. Basically, I was coming up just to see if they'd cleared everything up, then I might have giving them a bit extra, but they've got plenty left here. There's lots of Brussels sprouts, which is not their favourite. They're a bit like the stereotypical child at Christmas, you know. They'll eat Brussels sprouts if they have to. Well, my wife gave them a big bucket of Brussels sprouts this morning, and the big one, the female, the one that my wife's now referring to as Mum, Mum just went and stood in it and looked up at Jackie and said, "Where's the real food?" So they have had the real food, you know, some other things since then, but they've got plenty of Brussels sprouts, which they will eat if they're hungry. So I know that they're not starving hungry. I'm over now by our one set of hens, and I've just noticed that some of these branches are touching the electric fence, so it's not the ideal way of doing it, but I'll just snap them back. Yeah, so this video, really, the purpose of this video was just for me to check in with you guys, get you all caught up, because I don't know how long I will be doing this, but for the foreseeable future, I'm going to be working sort of 7 days a week, pretty much, which is due to our financial situation after my injury. Now my wife works, obviously. She works as a teaching assistant in a school, but my work is important to us insofar as our income as well. So having had 10 weeks off of work, I'm now in a position where I'm having to probably look at working 7 days a week for the foreseeable future, really, to get straight. And this time of year, as we all know, here in the UK, I'm going to be leaving the house while it's still dark, and it's Sunday today, so I finished a little bit earlier, and I've got home now. I'm not sure what the time is. I would guess it's about 4:15. You know, today I've got home and it's still a bit light out, but generally speaking, there'll be lots and lots of days where I'll be leaving in the dark, coming home in the dark. And, you know, none of this is a complaint. It is what it is. I'm just going to turn our Christmas tree over, because then they can have a nibble at the other side. There you go. They stripped the bark off quite nicely. You know, I will be doing as many videos as I can on all sorts of different things. There will probably be a few more sort of inside-based videos. Someone asked me about whether or not I'd done a video just on my dehydrator, which I have not, so that's one I've got coming up. But yeah, I'm just letting you guys know, really, that there's not going to be a huge amount of outside stuff in the next few weeks, because I'm just not going to be here to do any of it. But I thought this opportunity of just walking around and getting caught up might at least keep us all going for a little while. It's our original polytunnel, and if you remember, we put my wife's Brahmas in here originally, but they're quite lazy and they didn't do much to churn the ground up. But these girls are far busier, and look, they have cleared that right out and made it perfect for next year. I'm going to get a new cover for this as well. I've actually ordered one. I'm waiting for that to arrive to replace the cover, because it's seen better days. You can see that the you know, the zips have gone here, and there's also a rip there. These things are only going to get worse. And just over here we have my new one, and this is the one that the Brahmas have moved into, and hopefully they're going to be preparing that ground in there for me, which they seem to be doing. Like, that was all grass when they moved in, so they'll be doing a great job of getting that all ready for us to use in the spring. Something else I quickly wanted to address was someone mentioned on one of my videos about how our chickens seemed a little bit vulnerable to the fox. So I just wanted to explain a couple of the measures that we take. So, for instance, the guys in here, in this polytunnel, you can see that there's a strand of electric fence running around the bottom there, which is going to stop any fox from digging in, digging under, or getting too close to have a look and scratch through the polythene. That's safe. And then our other girls, we've been to see one set, so let's go look at the other set. And our other girls up there, and both sets of our outside hens are like this. I don't know how well you can see. You might be able to see a bit better if I zoom in, but they've got a electric fence running all the way around the outside, which again is fox prevention. You can't really see it from here, and And after being outside all day, I don't really have the inclination to walk up there. Plus, I'm halfway through cooking a roast dinner. So that's the other thing to bear in mind is, now, obviously my wife can cook. She's a perfectly good cook. But I tend to do, when I'm around, more of the cooking, the evening meals at least. So at the moment we're in lockdown here in the UK, so the school places are minimised. The number of children allowed to go to school are much reduced. So my wife is on a reduced work schedule, so she's only having to go into work 2 days a week, which is good because all of our kids are homeschooling. So it means that she's home to start dinner and things like that. However, tonight we're having a roast dinner and I wanted to cook one of our joints of pork, and I wanted to cook it in a very specific way. So bless her, she's sort of followed my instructions to put the joint in at a certain time on a certain temperature and change the temperature and add the white wine at this point and this, that and the other. Bless her, I'm very, very prescriptive sometimes, and she puts up with me, so that's great, you know, we work well. Anyway, so I'm now going to go in and finish off a roast dinner. We're going to have our first joint of the pork. So far we've had ribs from the pork that you saw me butcher. We've had ribs, we've had sausage meat, we've had bacon. These are all things we've eaten, and that's it. So today we're on to a nice big roast joint of pork with roast potatoes and vegetables, obviously all from the garden. So I'm going to get inside now and grab some veggies out the freezer and get our dinner underway a bit more, and that's probably going to wrap us up for today. But I hope you understand that it's going to be a bit difficult for me to produce content. And the gold standard, I try and produce a video every day. I don't hold myself to that, and what that means is, realistically, it means that on average, if everything's going well, if I'm not, you know, ridiculously busy and we don't have issues, then I would say on average I'm looking at about 5 times a week to release something. And who knows, maybe I'll be able to continue, but it feels like for the next probably 2 or 3 weeks I'm going to be a little bit limited. So we're probably talking a little bit less often, but bear with me and I will be back. And of course, when the sun stays up a bit longer, and it's like when I get home, then everything changes. So, you know, 2 or 3 weeks and we should get close to our usual schedule again. Cheers for watching. Speak to you soon.